Welcome back to Stooge Stream. This is the WCPW recap show, and we're talking Loaded episode 11. I'm your host, the Knockout Fiona, and with me as always is the Stooge.
Hello. We've got a show to call. This was a great episode of WCPW. I don't care what anyone else out there has told you and the arguments we're going to have over this. Let's get into it.
That remains to be seen. So this is the go home show before this week's upcoming pay-per-view Refuse to Lose. Now, can I just say, I've not actually heard the term go home show often before, and you've been saying it quite a lot recently.
Because we've had two. We've had the Bound for Glory one, and we've had the WCPW Loaded one. No, it's not new. This is a term that's been around for a long time. You're just smarking up.
I'm a bit of a mark, but hey, I like wrestling to be fun.
It's all right, I'll smarten you up.
So we opened the show with Drew Galloway. What a great way to open the show.
Of course.
He was outside the O2 Arena with a monologue about how he's coming for Joseph Conners. He's coming for his title. Again, he elevates any company he works for, he represents, and he wants to be WCPW champion because he thinks WCPW means something and is going somewhere.
I like the half shoot, half work promo style that Drew Galloway works in now, where he's doing a promo where he's saying things like WCPW is important, it's going somewhere, right, the title means something, which is all true. And then the work elements of working in his opponent and all the rest of it. He's been working this style in TNA for a little while as well now, and working this style in the indies. I really like it. It's that, again, that half work, half shoot, take stuff that's really happening, turn it into an angle, make it more believable style that he's got with his character, even though he's gone all emo and daddy issues on us, but that's besides the point.
He is still a fantastic wrestler, which we will see later on in the card.
And a great performer.
Yes. Yeah. Now, into ring action, we jump straight into a women's title match, which was a three-way match between Alex Windsor, a surprise entrance from a almost veteran British women's wrestler Katarina Leigh, also formerly known as Katie Leigh or Winter, and she did come into the ring with Winter music from TNA.
From TNA, yeah.
So interesting.
She's still kind of playing that character, just not using the name.
And they were facing the WCPW Women's Champion Nixon Newell.
Team Nixon.
Yes, it almost felt like, we've got Katarina Leigh, so let's chuck her in a match for the sake of it, with no continuity, even though Windsor and Newell have beef established from their match last week.
What I think it was is this. Now, WCPW is still a young company. They're signing people day after day. Okay. They must have just signed her prior to the tapings. She's a veteran, a known talent, a named commodity, who's worked in both WWE, TNA, and the independent scenes around the world. And what a great way to elevate these younger girls who aren't yet quite a name commodity. And, for a general wrestling fan who just sees this match out of context, they're only going to know one person in that match. But it's going to keep them interested enough to watch the rest of the match.
You always look at things from such a different perspective, Stooge. You really break it down from different POVs.
It's called knowing the business.
Well, the match opened with Windsor eyeing off Newell, eyeing off her title. Again, playing on their match of last week. I think the match really solidified Windsor as that heelish, no-holds-barred, bitchy character, and Newell as a fighting champion. I don't think it did a lot for... I wanted to call her Winter for Katarina Leigh, but you said it now.
Do a lot for her, but she doesn't need elevation. She doesn't need to be pushed. But it's nice to know that one, she's in the division. Two, she's willing to put over younger talent, which is clearly her role in the match.
Okay.
And three, that she is going to be in that division, that she's going to add her character into all of the mix and so forth. And going forward, we're going to have her in WCPW, and that's awesome.
I do want to point out my own WTF moment of the match. When it first opened, Newell made a dive at Windsor and took her down, started beating on her, and the ref grabbed her by the waist and pulled her up off her feet and put her away like a little girl having a tantrum. This is my pet hate in women's wrestling. She wasn't even on the ropes. There was no, she hadn't broken a 5 count or anything. No, absolutely no reason to physically pick her up. Oh, it gets my goat. I mean, I understand they're trying to build up that Newell is infuriated by Nixon. Look, I'm infuriated by them.
But you're infuriated by that.
That is my pet peeve.
We get it. It's not cool. I don't agree with it.
It just makes them look like naughty toddlers having a fight. Yeah. So I felt that this whole match undermined a little bit where they've been building up to with the women's division. Where was Bea Priestley as well? Maybe she does her own work around in different promotions, but...
We'll see. We'll see who rocks up to Refuse to Lose and what the match is. And I'm looking forward to seeing more from these girls. Even though this match was relatively short.
Too short.
It was about 9 minutes.
Less than. Yeah.
Okay, I'd say about 9 minutes. But in saying that, like in 9 minutes, they put on a great show. So when they get an opportunity to do a longer match, now in a show like this, which is just before a pay-per-view, they need to jam in a lot. You'll notice a lot of these matches were a little bit shorter than normal because they were jamming in a lot of content around them. And that leads us to what happens next.
All right. Well, Newell did, of course, get the win, remaining champion with her bridging fall-away slam. I think she does really great.
Yeah.
Suplexes, slams, bridging work. She's powerful, she's tough.
She's a very powerful girl.
It's a tiger suplex, is what it is. I had to look it up because it's that she sort of underhooks the arms and all the suplexes, their nuances are so different. Anyway, I thought you were going to comment on that.
No.
So we'll watch this space at the Refuse to Lose. Now we cut backstage to Travis Banks having accosted Adam Pacitti.
Yep.
In a tiny little room. I don't know what
that's supposed to be Pacitti's office. Yeah.
The broom closet.
Yeah.
And Travis Banks is chucking a Martin Kirby, saying, "Hey, it was good enough for him. You can put me in a 3-way match, title match for the new internet title." Against El Ligero and Alberto El Patron. And for the love of God, I was thinking, Pacitti, please just give him what he wants so we do not have to listen to Travis Banks' god-awful New Zealand accent much longer.
I didn't mind the accent. So he got it. He pushed over Pacitti. He got his title shot, which is leading to, I think... Personally, I can see Pacitti snapping and becoming the heel GM in future because everyone's pushing him around and so on and so on. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's getting a bit ridiculous, isn't it? Come on, man. Come on. Then we cut to another backstage segment with Gabriel Kidd cutting a monologue to the fans to not give up on him. Like he's in a really awkward position, being subservient to Prince Amin. And
I really liked his promo. I loved him saying, "Don't give up on Gabriel Kidd. Yeah. Don't give up on Gabriel Kidd." And then Prince Amin's like, "Come on, carry my bag, son. Let's get out of here." That wasn't a bad Prince Amin, actually, out of nowhere. That wasn't bad. And then Gabriel Kidd turning to the camera as he's walking away going, "Don't give up on Gabriel Kidd."
It was really cute.
Yeah, it was good.
A great actor as well. Yeah. I think he's really got... I really just want to see more and more of him. And, of course, the crowd are waiting for the inevitable showdown. Yeah.
Definitely. And I think he's coming into his own as well. Yeah. Over these segments, you can see he's grown as a performer. Even in a very short period of time. I'm looking forward to seeing that kid's future. Literally. The kid.
Well, now we jump to match number 2, which was
Numero dos.
Another triple threat. Too many numbers. A triple threat tag team match.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one I have to consult my notes because we had new players of the game and I couldn't quite get them down. So we saw the reappearance of Liam Slater and Johnny Moss.
Yeah.
That unlikely tag team. The new tag team of Mustache Mountain, who is comprised of Trent Seven and Tyler Bate, who are from ICW in Scotland, and our friends Los Prospectiva. So we had Del Grassi and Lucha Archer.
And El Draco.
Yeah, and El Draco for the assist. So I think that this match again helped solidify Moss as a monster.
Yeah.
He's always booked as that, but...
Let's just quickly
Yeah.
tackle the elephant in the room. Johnny Moss had dislocated his shoulder, his elbow 4 weeks prior to this match. Unfortunately, at the conclusion of this match, he dislocated his elbow again. He's going to be out for quite a while. But, one, how much of an animal are you that a month ago you dislocated your elbow and you got back in the ring? That is a tough human being. But please, Johnny Moss, take the time to heal and recover. We want you to come back safe and sound and put on some more amazing matches, dude. You are just brilliant in the ring.
Yes, and we did get to see a bit more of Slater as well at work and his
Liam
technical
Slater
ability.
Is great.
Yeah. He and the Mustache Mountain bait, they started off and with a nice little sequence, little sort of...
It was a good little back and forth.
Grapply, that technical sequence.
Los Prospectiva were playing the cheeky heels, the scared cheeky heels. It was quite... the dynamic between the three teams worked really well. This is what you have a problem sometimes when you have triple threat tag team matches, when one of the teams just doesn't slot in or doesn't fit right. And no, it worked really well. They worked out how to work together and how to flow and get each other's characters over, all at the same time, without destroying a match, without somebody looking like the odd man out.
I felt that the pacing was okay to start. Then it got went a little bit off, I guess, with the over comedy element of Los Prospectiva and the interference. I don't know. I felt like it went a little bit too long.
So again, this is setting up Los Prospectiva as the cheeky heels. They're going to get punished soon.
Okay.
So they've got to do cheeky things. They've got to do bad things to warrant the punishment. They've got to get negative heat. They've got to get... nuclear fire on them, but in that cheeky way. They're not bad heels, they're naughty heels.
Yeah, well, they did actually get a little bit of punishment in this match when Gracie was tossed over the top rope by Johnny Moss, who then promptly followed with his own dive into all of the...
all 5 of the participants,
below. So that was definitely that has to be spot of the match and or if not the night.
Yeah,
seeing a big man fly is always phenomenal.
A cute moment just after that, if you noticed. I noticed because I was just looking at all the sort of carnage and stuff, and the first thing Johnny Moss does is turns to Liam Slater and checks on him.
Oh really?
So he sells his character.
Aww.
So that was great,
like as his mentor. Well, the match ended with a win by Los Prospectiva, as you were saying. They do a double, funnily enough, their finishing move is very similar to that of Prospect.
Yeah, really,
it's a
really
double
similar.
Face. I'm really bad with technical moves. It's like a, it's, I can't even think what it is.
DDT?
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah. DDT, yeah.
The standouts for me in the match was actually Mustache Mountain.
Yes.
Coming into the three-way with 2 established tag teams that are already over. Like Johnny Moss and Liam Slater are already over. Los Prospectiva are already over. Nobody knew who these guys were. From our point of view anyway. Maybe some people there kind of knew them a little bit and you heard a little bit of crowd pop for them. But for people that, again, were relatively unknown for me, I really enjoyed their performances. They kind of sit on the line of mix of comedy as well as really good technical athletic wrestling.
Mustache Mountain.
Yeah.
Or Mustache Mountain. Yes.
So I'm looking forward to seeing more from them.
Yeah, definitely. And as you said, we're seeing a new face, a new team pop up every week, every other week.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, they really do keep you guessing in WCPW, and they keep us interested too. And yet at the same time, we're still developing the stories and characters of the guys we've seen from the beginning, like Kirby. Watching his evolution, for example, has been really interesting. All right, so now we go backstage with the relatively new interviewer, Stevie Aaron, who must come from ICW or something like that. The guy with the bow tie, he's all very
who I believe is going to be
dressed.
the ring announcer.
Yes, and he's so earnest and eager, almost as much as JB, but I think just a little bit more. So he's interviewing the 2 Mexicans, Awkward. El Ligero and El Patron. Admittedly, El Ligero has been doing this gimmick for a while, so Alberto El Patron has come in, and they've obviously had to explain to him, look, he's from Leeds, but can we just
it's a gimmick, it's a joke.
fame?
No. So there's a great segment where the interviewer says, the Mexican sensation, El Ligero, and El Patron grabs a microphone. Now, my Spanish isn't great, and I missed the first part because he was talking way too quickly for me. But I can tell you what he said in the second part of it. He said, "Are you effing kidding me? He doesn't even effing speak Spanish."
That was after the cutest little smirk, trying not to burst out laughing.
It was great. It was a great little segment. I enjoyed it.
Well, they were interrupted by Travis Banks, who, fronted up and saying, "Triple threat, boys, bring it on," and started shenanigans and, beat them up and had to get pulled apart.
Yeah. Because he's Travis Banks.
Yes, he is the Kiwi buzzsaw. We won't forget that.
New Zealand hardstyle.
We then cut to another segment of Jack the Jobber, still running from Primate.
2 weeks of running. Jack's going to be fit. Jack's going to be fit.
Speaking of fit, Primate obviously does CrossFit or something ridiculously hardcore because that dude is cut and in shape. Yet he's having a questionable run. So he's still chasing Jack. Jack goes into ringside, into the ring. Primate has just lost it. He's lost his shit. Turns on Simon Miller, who's conveniently there in wrestling training. Takes a massive spear bump from Primate, does Simon.
A mess.
Yeah, so Primate's there causing shit. And who will stop him? Who will put down the unstoppable animal? Well, of course. Who makes things better?
The nation, he'll beat you all and pull and play PlayStation. If they refuse to see the pageantry, then they're just silly. Billy, come on, let's get it on. Joe Hendry's music, please.
Yes, the local hero, Joe Hendry.
Now, just to be controversial, I thought that was a bit contrived. Really, it was an impromptu, quote-unquote, match. And again, I know Joe needed a spot to put himself over and continue to build up to the pay-per-view, but, why keep burying Primate?
Okay, again, look at it from not burying Primate's point of view. Primate plays the character of a monster. A monster you can have at any stage, just a beast, an animal. At any stage, he can come in and just start ripping people apart. And he's believable again. Instantly.
Okay.
There's no question about that. He's an animal. He's a beast. He bites things. He hurts people. All he has to do is hit 2 or 3 people and he's automatically believable again. So he can take a loss. Hendry, look at his win-loss record in WCPW. It's not amazing, but he's over as. He needs another win before the Kurt Angle match, before the iPay-per-view. And who better to beat than a monster, than a beast, than an absolute savage to show that he can do that going into a match with Kurt Angle. Not only that, he is the local hero. He makes things better. Jack's in trouble at his own fault, but Jack's in trouble. So the local hero's got to come and make things better. Speaking of, I also love the callback in the promo to what you just heard in that, which is a callback to originally when Jack asks Joe Hendry for help. And he does the song and on Tuesday. And part of that,
Craig David.
Yeah, we'll play PlayStation. And he keeps going back to that. So I love that bit where he's like, what you can do is go backstage, turn my PlayStation on, and then leave. That was great.
Continuity.
That was great.
You do love a bit of continuity.
I do. I'm a comic book reader. I love continuity. So that was great.
Well, Joe Hendry, of course, got the win with his fall-away slam, which I think is really interesting that his big finisher
move... The freak of nature.
...is the fall-away slam. And, of course, Kurt Angle's big move is the Angle slam. So it's going to be Battle of the Slams.
Another little point. Now, we're not going to say what Joe Hendry said, and Joe Hendry regrets what Joe Hendry said to Susie Kennedy That's why it was cut out. But
Dubbed
apparently
over.
it went along the lines of, "Get out of here, you effing B."
Really? But I thought he didn't swear.
And Joe Hendry regrets that. So he was just in like full in that character for a moment. He was playing Kurt Angle.
Wow.
Did you get that?
It was a bit odd.
when he
to be
starts
honest.
doing the
Yeah.
angle, like he full went into Kurt Angle
He did.
persona.
He did an ankle lock.
Yeah, and did the Angle yells at people. Angle swears. He doesn't care.
I know. Oh, you gotta love Kurt Angle for that. All American hero. Yeah,
Angle's
right.
amazing.
How many times have you been pulled over for drink driving and the like, you know? Anyway, no, but that's what we love about our heroes. They're not perfect.
Yeah. And look, I really actually like the match as well. Before we get too off topic, the match itself, I didn't mind it. It wasn't the most technical, brilliant match or anything like that. It was a hard hitting match though. Both men took big, hard hits. So it didn't matter who won or lost this match. Both of them won because they both come off now as men who can take big, hard hits. It worked well.
Yeah.
Told the story it was meant to tell.
All right. Well, that leads us into the main event of the evening, which is the title match between Drew Galloway and Joseph Conners. And we saw in the ring, security was there from the outset to keep them apart before the bell went off.
Which I thought was really interesting. I really liked that.
Yeah.
That was a great choice just to show like how angry they were at each other. Like they need to keep them separated so they can ring the goddamn bell. I can start the match.
It's been interesting that Conners got the title, don't you think, to begin with? Like, I just, I wouldn't have picked that that's where they went. And so, you'd think they would have given it to one of the big, like, international names.
Why? You need to put over your own talent. And out of everybody in the main event scene, who needed to be put over the most? Joseph Conners.
Yeah. Well, he has been around the British scene for quite a while, hasn't he?
No, he has been, but think about it. Hendry doesn't need to be put over. Hendry gets Hendry over at the expense of no one but himself. Like, he gets himself over. Martin Kirby got himself over. Prince Amin got himself over. Conners, with the character that he was kind of roped with to start with, wasn't working. They needed to turn him heel, and they need to get him over. And this is a great way of doing it. Turn him heel and get him over.
Exactly. Well, I think in this match, Drew Galloway really helped push that and really played a hand in helping to get him over. I think this was the match of the night. It really was, which is good for a title championship main event.
Yeah.
I think the pacing was really built. It really built up. It really told a good story. There was some great spots. They worked really well together. Conversely, because I think Drew's so big, Joseph Conners' righteous kill DDT, which he hit for the win, wasn't as kind of sharp and neat as it had been. Like, sometimes that looks vicious.
Yeah. But it still looks good. It's a package DDT. It's
I know,
still nasty,
I know. But if I was him, I'd be going back and watching that, and
But that's not his fault.
Look,
Drew's 6 foot, 19.
I'm not a negative person. I'm trying to pick things apart. I'm just giving a critique for the purposes of a balanced opinion for our show.
No, fair enough. And I totally agree. This was match of the night. Like, the intensity in this match was superb. Both of them bought it. Now, normally a heel versus heel main event doesn't always play out really well. Like, it's hard to get behind.
That's true.
People, it's hard to really... And in this match, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because they both brought this level of intensity to their performance as far as character, as far as actual wrestling as well. They were just snapping moves off. It was great. It was great. You believed the hate that they had for each other. You could suspend disbelief for a moment in this match, and that's what made it match of the night. And what happened afterwards, I think, really cemented it too.
Well, I'm just cutting back to the earlier in the match. Actually, I think Drew started bleeding. Was it hard way?
Definitely hard way.
Within a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
which was pretty
Joseph
cool.
Conners.
Oh no! I thought Drew was as well.
No, it was Joseph Conners that was bleeding.
I thought they both were bleeding by the end of it.
But no,
see,
Conners was bleeding hard way from his lip.
Yeah, no, which was good because it really just showed
it sold it. Yeah,
it did. Fighting champion, just
an
tough.
intense champion. And this was
crazy, psycho intense.
Yeah, and this was a match that showed like he doesn't have to cheat to win. Like, he won it clean. He just is a psycho about winning it. That's
Exactly. Well, apparently the righteous kill, his DDT finisher, was meant to storyline re-injure Drew's head, because remember we saw last week Joseph Conners had bashed his head into the wall, which you enjoyed too much.
It was a great segment.
We rap about this on our previous recap episode.
Segment.
Now, following the match,
My favorite part of the night.
we could not have our go home match without our go home card, without an appearance from the number one contender, Martin Kirby.
Yes.
Yeah. And of course, he and Connors are having a fight at Refuse to Lose. They had a bit of a rumble, and that was it.
Okay, so this was a serious turn for Kirby.
You reckon?
So up until this point, Kirby's still been a bit of a joke. Even last week, even winning matches, there's still a lot of comedy to what he does and so forth. Even winning a great match last week and then handcuffing himself to the ropes, still got that sort of jokey persona to him. Well, he came out this week not wearing the pink shorts, not wearing just wearing, training shorts.
Training shorts, yeah, MMA
and
shorts.
Sneakers, and just beat the crap out of Joseph Connors.
Yeah, and Sable bombed him. Yep.
And Sable bombed him, and then held up the title and looked like a champion.
Yeah, and the crowd was chanting Kirby.
The crowd was so behind Martin Kirby as well. He's really done a great job of changing from a complete joke, piss take of a character in weeks to a serious contender that everyone's behind, gone from a heel to a face in just a great flip. Kirby's amazing. He's a great performer, a great talent in the ring. But this last 3 weeks has shown just how good this guy is. He has the crowd in his hand. He's making them eat out of his hand. He did karaoke, for fuck's sake, last week.
Karaoke, yeah.
It was
Trademark.
nuts.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
I'm drawn. I'm in two minds. I want to see Connors develop further as Healy champion, yet Martin Kirby for the win. So,
yeah, I'm torn. I'm really torn in this one too.
I'm looking forward to the match they're going to tell, the story they're going to tell in the match.
Usually I'm like, I want this person to win for this reason particular. If either person won this match, I'd be happy. I'd be happy.
Well, we won't have too long to wait. It's 6th of October, days away, depending when you're listening to this.
Refuse to lose. We've got a special coming.
We do indeed. Until then,
we're going to leave you with a bit of Martin Kirby.
90s house rave.
I changed my mind. He needs to win. New champion, Martin Kirby.